Finally, the move is over and we're back to making some videos. Hope you guys are going to enjoy this one. During the move, so as many of you know, I moved from Virginia down to Florida. It's about 800-mile move, and we had a mixture of using pods and movers and all those good things. During that move, the movers actually broke some furniture, and so I wanted to make a little piece to fix some of the furniture. There's a little corner bracket with 2 holes in it, and you put a screw in each side, and it holds a piece on square. And it's quite a simple piece, but when you don't have one, it's quite annoying. So very easy to 3D print, very easy to model, and just so that I've got ones that will work in any situation, I'm going to make them parametric so that we can make them any size. I'm going to start out with a logical size that I want, but I'll make it parametric so that we can change the size if we want to. So as always, I'll just show you which version of FreeCAD I am using. I'm using this version 0.20, and it is revision number 29177. I did download the 0.21 just to check and see if the topological naming issue had been resolved. I found that it was more robust, but I found that it did fail. So I don't know if they've addressed it or if they think they've addressed it, but I certainly could make it fail by changing the name of the sides, by forcing it, by changing the shape. And what it would do is the hole that was supposed to go through it would fly around to the other side. So still not fixed as far as I'm concerned, still not the way I'm going to model. And who knows, even after it's fixed, I might still model the same way because there's less chance of anything going wrong. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get started. Actually, I'm going to be on the spreadsheet workbench to start with, because I need a spreadsheet because we're going to go parametric. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new file, and then I'm going to start a new spreadsheet, and I'm going to open that spreadsheet, and I have some dimensions that we're going to add to that spreadsheet, but we're not going to do anything with the spreadsheet yet. I'm going to go back into part design, which is where I like to model things, and in part design I'm going to create a part, and I'm going to create a body, and then I'm going to create a sketch. Now, some people have left me messages saying that their icons don't look the same as mine. I made my icons a bit bigger so that you can see them on the screen, and I also opened them all up. So if there's anything that's hiding, typically what I do is I will unhide it and drag that piece down. So there is a piece hiding there, and I'll show you that in a minute. Let me just pick this XY plane. I'm going to say OK. And so for instance, where this is, if I wanted to show that, what I would do is I'd drag that whole screen down, and then I would have another layer of icons. We don't really use the B-spline icons very much, so I'm not going to do it for those. But that's what I did for all these, so that you can see them, so that when I'm sketching, you can actually see what I'm doing. So to do this sketch, I'm just going to roughly sketch out the shape. And what I'm going to do, I think once I sketch it a little bit, you'll see what I am talking about. Go this way, and we'll go this way, and then we're going to take a line. We'll just join those together. So all I have is a shape that's lined up like that. And I do know a couple of things. So I know this and this are going to be equal, and I know this and this are going to be equal. Then I know the size of this, I want to be 15 millimeters, and I know the size of this, I want to be 3 millimeters, and I'm going to move this guy over. I'm actually going to make it stick on there, I think. Let's do that. So I'll pick both of those. No, can't pick both of those. Hold. Why can't I pick? There we go. I have to zoom in to get it to pick. And I'm going to make those coincident. So what that's going to do is it's going to fully constrain my sketch. So I have the geometry and the dimensions all fully constrained. And then we're going to close that. We'll just pad that guy. And we're going to pad him out 15 millimeters as well. Say OK. And we have this shape. So you can probably see what I'm talking about now. I have that shape. The next thing I want to do is I want to make another sketch. I'm going to just bring that to the middle. Make another sketch. I'm going to do that on the XY plane. And then this sketch is literally just going to be a box. So I'm going to put a box in here. And I'm going to dimension this piece. I'm going to make this and this equal. And then the only thing I need to do is to say where that and that are going to be. And I want that to be 3 millimeters. And then I want this edge over here. I want that to be the same in that direction. So what I'm going to do is, I know this is 15, so I can just dimension that. So let's do that. We will go with a dimension from here to here. And we'll give that dimension is going to be 11. No, I'm sorry, it's going to be 12. There we go. And now that dimension is holding that, so it's in the right place. Then, of course, if I just cut that out, it's going to actually cut a piece out the side. So I want to offset my attachment. Offset that by, I'm going to make those webs 1.5 millimeters. So I'm just going to offset that by 1.5 millimeters. And then I'm going to pocket that. And I'm going to reverse that. And I'm going to make that 12 also. So now I have this shape. Then I want to put a hole in there and a hole in there, so we're going to do that next. So I'll do sketch. And I can see, so if they'd fixed the topological naming, I would just pick that surface, but they haven't. So I'm going to go with this. Then I'm going to draw a circle. And I'm going to give that circle a diameter. Now remember this new shape here, this is the one that is constraint auto either radius or diameter, as opposed to picking diameter or radius. I really like this command because it's much easier. And I'm going to make that 5 millimeters. Pop that out there. Then all I need to do is I need to locate it this way. That would be 7.5 in this case. And then I want to locate it this way. And I think that one's going to be 5. So close, pocket that. We're going to say through all, just in case we change that thickness. And there's the first hole. Now what we want to do is to put in a hole on this side. So I'll do the same thing. I'm going to do a sketch, and I can see it's that plane. So the reason I'm saying it's that plane is if I look in that direction, I can see it's that one there. So we'll take that plane, and then we'll draw our circle. We're going to give that a dimension. We're going to call it 5 millimeters. We're going to have a dimension from this spot this way. That's going to be our 12. And then a dimension from this one to this one. That's 7.5. I do that right? I'm not sure if that 12 is correct. It doesn't matter. We're going to change all the dimensions in a minute anyway. So we'll close that. and we'll do our through all. And yeah, I got that one wrong. It doesn't matter because we're going to change it now anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and change it so that everything is parametric. So the first thing we want to do is go into our spreadsheet, and we're going to have a width. We're going to have a height, and we're going to have a web thickness. Let me just show you the web thickness, what I'm talking about. That's this piece here. That's the web. It was a web on that L shape. And then we're going to have just a thickness. And then a hole diameter. And I think from those we can calculate the rest of the stuff. So my width, I was 15. My height, I was 15. My web thickness was 1.5. My thickness was 3, and my hole diameter was 5. And then I need to make these guys aliases. So what I got to do is I got to select the spreadsheet, and actually I can go back into the spreadsheet, select that one. I'm going to make that width. Yep. Select that one. We're going to make that height. Select that one. Web thickness. Thickness. And of course, you know, if you select this, I have a macro that is easy alias, which is available from the macro manager. If you just click that, it does the same thing. So now that is called hole diameter. I don't have to retype everything. So I could have just selected all those and used that macro, and it would have done that. But I wanted to show you how to do it manually first. Okay, so let's go back into our piece here. Now, one thing I'm going to show you is if you go Window and Tile, now we can see both of these together. So I can see this width here and everything. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my first sketch. Just going to center that up. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make this change. So I'm going to tell this dimension that it's actually the spreadsheet width. Well, I'm sorry, thickness. Okay, so now this thickness is managing that over there, and then this is going to be height. So same thing again, just going to go in here, so it's the spreadsheet, that's the height. And you see they turn blue, that means they're cold. No, just kidding. That means that they are bound to the spreadsheet. So now I have the height and I have the thickness all squared away. And the width is this pad. We go here and we say spreadsheet width. And now this width is that width. There. Then I'm going to go into this sketch and I'm going to make this dimension I will tell you, sometimes if you can't select a dimension, if you change the zoom, then it'll allow you to select it. I think it's there's something not quite right there, but I'm just going to make this the same as height. So spreadsheet height. And I'm going to make this one spreadsheet thickness. And now this is the first one we're going to calculate. So this is going to be height minus the thickness. Let's do that. So we're going to say it's spreadsheet height minus spreadsheet. Let's move that arrow out of the way. Thickness. And that will keep that always the same. So we've got that and that, so that's all fully constrained. And then we want to do that offset. Remember, we did an offset here in our attachment. So we did the Z attachment. So that's going to be spreadsheet web thickness. So that gives us that offset. And then actually we want to go with this pocket. Needs to be spreadsheet width minus spreadsheet web thickness times 2. So that gives us, that will keep that always in the middle of that piece there. Then we've got our first hole. And we are going to dimension this to hole diameter. Spreadsheet hole diameter. This one is going to be, so the offset from the front is 5 millimeters, so we know what that is. So that is going to be spreadsheet height times 0.333. I'll keep it always 1/3 of that height in. And this one's simply going to be spreadsheet width divided by 2. It'll always be in the middle of the width. And we'll close that one. And the final one is going to go, and we're going to do the same thing. Remember, I said there's no point in fixing that one there, because this should be spreadsheet height times 0.666. So it's 2/3 of the height is what we actually wanted. And that puts in the same place as the other one. And then we're going to do this one is going to be spreadsheet hole diameter. And then the final one, this is the last dimension, it's going to be spreadsheet, and it's going to be width divided by 2. And we'll close that. And now you can see it fixed where that hole is. So now just from those simple dimensions, if I change my height, for instance, to 20, it should update everything and keep everything sort of proportionally right. And if I make my width, if I want to go much wider, let's say to 30, We go to 30, we keep our webs the same. Everything looks good there. We can change our thickness. If we think it's a little too thick, we can go down to 2 millimeters. You can see it all maintains the same. The hole diameters we can make smaller. So just with these 2, 4, 5 dimensions, we're able to complete the whole thing. I kind of liked it where it was, so I'm going to go back with my 15 and 15 and 3 and 5. That's the way I like it. So let's zoom in there, and you can see completely parametric whole corner piece. So basically what you do is you put a screw through here, you line this up on one side of the wood, you have the other side of the wood here, you put a screw through there, and it holds it square. And to print those is very easy because you can 3D print these holes, so you can print it in this orientation. If I go there, so we could print it in that orientation, and it would quite happily print that hole there. So I don't think you'd have any problem with that. The only thing I might do is I would put a little radius on here. So if you go back into part design and just take that and pop a fillet on there, maybe do it 2 mil or something. That's how I would finish it off, just so that you don't have a sharp corner fitting in there in case the thing is not sharp. That's all I would do. I think I like it like that. I'd print those all day long if I had my new printer yet, but I don't have my new printer, so when I get that, I'm going to do a video of setting up my new printer. You'll see that. I'm also going to do a video of setting up my MPCNC, which I had to take apart to move here. Unfortunately, it did get a little bit bent out of shape, literally, on the way here. So again, when I put that back together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up so that you guys can see how I set up the MPCNC. You'll actually see me putting it all together and how we get it going. I'm actually going to resize it, and then that should all be set. And that's it. Thanks for hanging with me on this one. I appreciate it. And I'll catch you in the next one. Glad to be back.